in regards to CAIR and the future of CAIR and what I would hope to see. Alhamdulillah, I'm excited in the sense that when I started working at CAIR back in 2005, we didn't have attorneys on staffs. There weren't not multiple attorneys in the national office. Only Arsan Iftikhar was, I think, the only attorney at the time at CAIR national staff. And chapters didn't have attorneys. Now, CAIR chapters all throughout the nation have attorneys, at least one, if not more, in which real legal work and services are being done. Complaints being filed with the EEOC, state offices that deal with civil rights, lawsuits that are being filed on the state level and the federal level, and state court and federal court. So alhamdulillah, these are things that show growth, and it shows the community support for the work of CAIR, because ultimately CAIR is not predominantly funded by foundation money and grant money. How our offices operate is predominantly or primarily from brothers and sisters such as yourself who are watching, who give your sadaqah, give your charity to CAIR chapters as well as the CAIR national office. So this is a good sign that we are growing in our capacity and doing real legal work. My hope for CAIR as an organization that we become the foremost organization in the United States of America in standing for the First Amendment of freedom of religion and freedom of assembly for all Americans, not just for American Muslims, but people of all faiths and backgrounds. As someone who is a student of American history, I can be certain in saying of two things in the importance of CAIR, and hopefully that we move further in this direction in what I'm talking about. The first is, of course, that when a group of people's civil liberties are being violated, then it puts the civil liberties of everyone in that society in jeopardy. And especially if civil liberties of people in the dominant society, and in this case I'm talking about Christians, is under assault or putting at risk. If Christians' right to freely practice is under assault, then we as Muslims, we're in trouble, right? The second thing that I would say is that in this particular regard is the great American Muslim martyr Malcolm X, rahmatullahi alayhi. He talked about and warned us about being overly partisan, that we should be dealing with principles more than parties. He compared the conservatives, the so-called conservatives, to wolves, and the so-called liberals, the so-called progressives, to foxes. And he said that one comes at you with a snarl or a growl, and the other one comes at you with a smile. And he said that, but both of them will eat your chickens. And he also said that in some cases, the fox is more likely to get the lamb chopped than the wolf, in this comparison of wolves and foxes, or now we would say, party-wise, elephants and donkeys, right? So as an organization, this work, and this is Nasiha, counsel for the community, is that we as Muslims and as American citizens, in defending Hizbul Nafs and Hizbul Deen, the protection of life and the protection of religion, which is two of the objectives of the sacred law, and also standing for the U.S. Constitution and especially the First Amendment, that we have to be a people who are more concerned about standing for principles over personalities, even if it's people who claim verbally to be our allies, but would put in jeopardy our capacity to do what is most important after securing the safety of our lives. And preserving life is the preservation of the freedom of our religious practice. So I have hopes that CAIR National will be leading in this regard, along with chapters following, in preserving the right to freely practice Islam and normative Islam. I would even further elaborate traditional Islam for our community that is growing here in the United States of America. I ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless and protect all of my colleagues throughout the CAIR network. I ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless each and every one of you and protect all of your families as we enter into these 10 most blessed days of the year, the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. And I ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help raise up a younger generation of leaders amongst us who are confident in standing behind the sacred principles of Islam in their entirety, that will lead CAIR and CAIR chapters into greater levels of excellence. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.